today's video, we're going to talk about the psychology of money and overspending. Do you ever find yourself checking your bank account at the end of each month and it's always the same? Even though your salary might have increased or you picked up some extra shifts, it seems like that extra income just goes into a black hole. Why is that? In this video, we're going to go over 5 reasons why you might be overspending and what you can do to prevent it. If you're new here, my name is AC. I'm a full-time doctor and a finance enthusiast. My goal is to help you get more comfortable with your money. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. The first concept I want to talk about is Parkinson's Law. In the world of chemistry, this law states that gas will expand to spontaneously fill the maximal volume allowed. And this is true in the world of personal finance as well. It simply means that your expenditures will always rise to meet your new level of income. Let me explain this a little further with a profession that I know very well, medicine. Physicians have to go through an extremely long training process, which is 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of medical school, and anywhere between 3 to 7 years of residency and fellowship. So by the time they have this high salary, they're usually around 30 to 35 years old. Now, you can imagine that if someone sacrificed 10 to 15 years of their life, they might want to make up for it when they finally have the chance. And this is exactly what happens to physicians. It's called lifestyle creep. They start buying new cars, they start buying new houses, and they over-leverage themselves. Now, why does lifestyle creep happen? To put it simply, it's human nature. If we work hard for something, we in turn believe that we deserve it. Now, this is true that you do deserve to be rewarded for some of your hard work, but that doesn't mean you are awarded every single luxury in life. This brings me to one of my favorite quotes. You can have anything in life that you really want, but you can't have everything in life that you really want. Decide. And this is the crucial distinction. You deserve to have the things that truly make you happy, but it doesn't mean that you deserve every other luxury in life as well. Decide for yourself what is important and make sure your spending is aligned. One of the solutions to lifestyle creep is to slowly increase your spending instead of going after it all at once. In addition, it's really important to tackle your bigger things like student loan debt or other debt obligations before you start spending more and more money. Once you've cleared your debt, it'll be much easier to allocate a portion of your income to discretionary spending as opposed to always being on the hamster wheel of increasing debt. Number 2, I want to talk about a concept known as the Diderot Effect. First, I'm going to tell you a short story, then the lesson. Denis Diderot was a simple French philosopher who lived in poverty his entire life. In 1765, his daughter was about to be married and he needed to provide a dowry. He had no material wealth, but he was well known as an academic and the co-founder of one of the most comprehensive encyclopedias of the time. The Empress of Russia at the time, Catherine the Great, heard about his financial troubles and offered to buy his entire collection for 1,000 British pounds. All of a sudden, Diderot was rich. In addition to his dowry, he decided to make a single additional purchase for himself, and this included a new scarlet robe. This turned out to be a disastrous decision for him. The scarlet robe itself was magnificent, one of the best pieces of clothing that money could buy. But when he placed it next to his other possessions, it just seemed very out of place. So in order to fix this problem, he started buying things to match the robe. He bought a new rug from Damascus, he bought beautiful sculptures, a new kitchen table, and a new mirror to place above his mantle. And thus, his downfall. That initial purchase was the gateway to greed and gluttony. Even though Diderot lived in the 1700s, we continue to make this mistake even today. Imagine you just moved into a new apartment with a huge living room. Your first purchase might be a nice couch, and that seems justified because you're probably going to be using it a lot. And then you start unpacking all of your other things. Your coffee table doesn't seem to match, your side tables don't seem to match, your living room stand doesn't seem to match, nothing really seems to match. And so what do? You go to your local furniture store, you go online, and you start looking for furniture that starts to match that couch. And by the end of the week, you might have spent an extra $3,000 to $4,000 on accessories when the couch itself was only $1,000. What can we do in the future to safeguard ourselves? Number 1, when you're thinking about a big purchase, don't just think about the singular purchase, think about all of the accessories that you'll need to buy as well. And the bigger the purchase, the more important it is to consider these accessories. For example, houses are very expensive right now, and there's a huge risk of overextending yourself if you only think about the mortgage payment. When it comes to houses, there's many other accessories as well. You have to think about your homeowner's insurance, you have to think about your PMI, you have to think about your maintenance costs, you have to think about the property taxes. There's so many other things that go into it. A general rule is to take the value of the house and multiply it by 7%. This will be your annual cost of ownership. If you want to learn a little bit more about how much house you can actually afford, you might want to check out my other video here. Reason number 3, peer pressure. Peer pressure is one of the strongest forces on earth, and it is one of the most primal instincts that we have as humans. Back when our ancestors were hunter and gatherers, the key to our survival was forming groups and communities. There was power in numbers, and when you became isolated, it was a death sentence. Our brains are hardwired to crave acceptance and a sense of belonging. Most people would rather just go along with something they don't believe in rather than being shunned from a group. So take a moment and reflect. Are you surrounded by family and friends that are true to your identity? If you want to become a better saver, but you're surrounded by people who are big spenders, it's going to be nearly impossible to change your habits. In his book, Atomic Habits, James Clear mentions the power of community. If you join a community where your desired action is the norm, it will be so much easier to stick to that action. Shameful plug, this is exactly what I'm trying to do with my YouTube channel. I'm trying to build a community where we have similar values, but are still allowed to make our own individual decisions. The goal for all of us is to simply take control of our money again and control our time. If this content resonates with you, give this video a like and consider subscribing. Also, leave a comment. Let me know what you want me to talk about next in the upcoming videos. Number 4, boredom. Boredom has been linked to many hazardous health conditions such as anxiety, depression, fear, and isolation. In addition, most people would rather feel something rather than nothing at all. Even if that something is a negative experience such as pain, humans would rather feel that instead of boredom. If boredom is a big part of your life, take a moment and recognize that. What do you do to fill your time? Do you immediately try to fill that void by online shopping, or maybe going out to eat, or maybe playing video games? Think about why you're doing that in the first place. Instead of passively filling your time, think about actively filling your time instead. Especially in the age of social media, it's so easy to lose hours and hours scrolling TikTok or Instagram when there could be so many other things you could be doing. I'm not saying that there isn't a time and place for social media, just be careful. And the same can be said for your spending. Make sure it's not out of boredom. Instead, make sure it's an active decision where you're actively finding joy in your purchases. And number 5, I want to talk about marketing, and especially predatory marketing. In this day and age, the business world has perfected the art of marketing. Online ads, in-person ads, mail ads, text ads, they're all perfectly designed to deliver exactly what you want at the exact right time. For example, if you search for a new pair of AirPods on Amazon, you'll be flooded with the newest Apple products for the weeks to come. And this is true especially with holiday deals. Black Friday deals, Christmas shopping, New Year's, Cyber Monday, and the list goes on and on. This is a marketer's perfect dream. They're selling you the idea that this is a sale and this is a one-time buy. In reality, this might just be an illusion. There probably is a little bit of a markup, and that deal is not necessarily so good. My suggestion, keep an active buy list and don't buy things immediately. For example, I've been needing a new couch and new bookshelves for my studio for the longest time, but I didn't immediately purchase them. I was actually following a particular bookshelf on Wayfair, and I waited until President's Day where I was able to get 25% off. Now, this was a relatively big purchase of $500, so that's significant savings. And you can do the same, just be more proactive with your spending. I also have a $500 rule. If I'm making a purchase more than $500, I will always wait 48 hours before making that purchase. If I still want and need that purchase at the end of 48 hours, then I'll make the purchase. But a lot of the times, I'll wait the 2 days and realize I don't really want it in the first place. This alone has saved me thousands of dollars in the long run. In sum, there's so many reasons we overspend, and a lot of them just come down to human nature and psychology. Also, if you want to set a budget or think about spending more consciously, you can check out some of these other videos here. Anyways, I hope you found value in this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.